what you see my hands, and then we're going to turn it. New people coming in see your face, whatever. So I'm just quickly get this on, all right? I'll turn it over to you here. Excuse me, gang. So a bit of a here we are. They're in the mornings. Okay, a couple of things. We talked about copying the chat and stuff. Remember we mentioned that?
Yeah. Every so often you need to
because I still don't have a software to keep the chat.
So where am I?
So what? Okay, we'll turn it to you. This is.
Are we on?
Yeah, we're on.
Oh,
we're
hi guys.
First things first. I click into the chat. Oh, you have a Mac or a Windows? You're a Windows guy.
I'm Windows guy.
Copy A. Command A is copy all,
right.
and then Command A is select all, and
Command C is copy all.
So whatever.
Okay, I can do that. Command A, Command C.
And then we can't move the thing too much because
yeah. No,
am I going to introduce it? You're going to introduce it. You're from the stream.
You introduce me.
This is John Becker.
Hello, John Becker,
from
TN.
Tennessee.
That's the person.
You're one of the few people on this community who actually uses your real name in the chat.
Well,
do you do that? Is that your policy on the net all over the place? It is.
In many places, yeah.
You're not worried about that?
How do I unhighlight everything?
Just leave it, just let it go. Just click into it.
Got it. All right.
And of course, if you do type in there, it's going to come up as me.
Yes.
Not as you. You're not logged in as yourself.
Oh, the things I could type. All right. So what I was going to say, what print is this we're working on?
Oh, you weren't here yesterday.
I was not here yesterday.
So that you were busy like flying or something in the air.
I was.
Okay. What we did, we popped it up. It's here. This is the scenes selection, and there we are. If we put the eyebrow on, this is the first print.
Yes, I've seen this.
First print in next year's series, and it's finally decided, and we can see what I'm doing here. I'm starting to carve the outlines.
Right.
Of what will be the first of a bunch of blocks. And maybe later on the stream, what I'll do is I'll recap what I talked about yesterday, explaining exactly how the block set's going to work for this. Okay. But for now, I'll get a bit of work done. We got to introduce you so people who know who you are and what you're doing and what's going on.
Okay.
This is your 10th time?
No, sixth time in Japan, and this is probably my 4th or 5th time here in the shop in Asakusa.
Before that, you came to my house in Ome.
I did go to Ome back in 2007 in September or October.
So you've been stalking me for
at least that long, as far as you know.
What was the beginning? I can't even remember.
I guess I had just gotten interested in woodblock prints probably in 2003 or 4, something like that, maybe 2002, and I just started looking online. What information can I learn about woodblock prints? And golly, wouldn't you know, woodblock.com took me right to Dave.
So I was doing the Cinema albums then or something.
I think so, yeah. And I happened to email Dave because I noticed his pictures of the prints were done so well that you could see the impression in the paper. And I asked him how he lit the prints. And he told me about his setup. He had light bulbs on the other side of the room.
Oh, that's back then. Yeah. In the basement over at Ome.
And far enough away that you wouldn't get a lot of fall off, bright to dark, from the nearest edge to the darkest edge, because if you have a light source very close, it'll drop off in intensity a lot faster. Yeah, you have to have the light going across the surface of the print so you can see the impression. But if you have the lights too close to the front edge, you'll get a lot of fall off from the front edge to the back edge. It's called the inverse square rule. So the farther you move the lights away, the more uniform the level of light will be across the surface. So that's what Dave explained to me.
So I hadn't been able to do it when I lived in the apartment in Hummer because it was just too small. But as soon as I got to Ome, there's this big basement, like 10 meters wide or whatever it is. And soka.
And that was before Dave had done the full build-up of the studio in Ome. It was mostly done, I think.
It never did.
You had but you had the bay window in. You had the workbench in.
It's 2 hours or so to get out there. You trotted all the way out to Ome.
Yeah, well.
But we weren't doing print parties.
Get on the Jewel line.
Right?
No, you weren't.
No.
So it was great. We spent some time. Dave was showing me prints. He made me hot chocolate on a warm day when I came in as sweaty as I am today. Yeah, we walked right into your kitchen. You made hot chocolate, just as a matter of course.
You remember that, and I don't, whatever.
Well, you probably had more than one guest in there, but, I remember it. I remember everything. The Germans wore gray, you wore blue. You have to know Casablanca to get that one, folks.
Okay, wait. First things first. You're a photographer, right?
I am a photographer. Back then, I was not really. I had a little point and shoot, but I didn't know what I was doing with it. I was
But
just
you're doing the same
point and
job, right?
shoot.
Same way?
No, at that time I was doing agent support in a real estate office, but I had just started taking pictures of houses with that little point and shoot, and I really didn't know what I was doing. And then I started learning about it. This is talking about 2005 or 6 or 7 is when I really started learning about it. So I've been doing that for a while, and I've moved up to bigger and better things.
And John, I guess John makes a living or has a company, or I don't know the level of that, but at producing photographs of houses. Is it just houses or buildings that are for sale? So
Well, any real estate for sale. So that's it's a fun job sometimes. When the houses are ready, when they're good houses. Any job you get into, there's good and there's bad, and occasionally I have to do my best to make it not look like a dump.
well, sure, they clean them up before you come in to shoot, don't they?
For the most part, they're always.
So is this John Becker's photography and cleaning service? Is that the...
Generally, no. I learned from there's a guy in the Bay Area of U.S., San Francisco area. He lives in Oakland. His name is Scott Hargis, and I learned a lot from him over the years. And one of the things he used to tell people was, "I'm not a janitor. I'm not a furniture mover. I'm not a stager. I come in, I take the pictures." So I feel like I'm kind of ignoring the chattel. I mean, there's still just morning.
Yeah. They're probably mostly saying hello to you or something.
For the most part, yeah. And Dave's building for sale since I'll be photographing it. No.
Is that our secret is out?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'd like to buy this thing, or I'd like to try buying it, but she won't.
Oh, there's a party. I don't know if it's today. It's 11/16, so it's not today. As much as Dave might like to reap the benefits of selling this building, it's not his to sell.
I'd like to buy it, but she's nuts. She would be crazy to sell it now.
Yeah, well, and her family would be crazy to let her.
There is no family.
Oh, okay, I thought there was. My mistake.
This is our.
Up. It may be. Hang on. I'm not going to go outside, but it may be close.
Why did John take a walk?
I'm not sure. That didn't sound like the purposeful stride. That was her? Okay. She's diminutive, but she's serious.
Yes. Can't talk to her. There's no way with it.
No, I wasn't going to say that.
No. So you are now in the inner circle.
Yes. I didn't get a good look at her face. I just saw
This
her.
guy's crazy. He buys a plane ticket to come over here just so he can get a look at the shoe lady.
And I'll tell you, it was worth every dollar. Because I have that knowledge now. No one can take that away from me.
What have we created?
Hey, watching you carve is wonderful, but we have to keep going. There has to be more to it. Well, not a Medusa, no. She appears rather attractive. Yeah, that was not true. That was slow, kind of draggy, kind of. Well.
On Tuesday, and we're closed on Tuesday, there was no stream. It turned out that this Tuesday was the clean day. First Tuesday every month is street cleaning day here.
Oh, yeah.
You've seen it before. And they got ready, they got going early this morning, so I was outside there starting to get...
Oh, geez.
We've got some problems with the water next door. We need water to be able to clean the street.
Right.
And there's no public water, so each building has taps
bring your
in
own
front.
out,
And ours doesn't. The tap on ours is broken decades ago before I came here.
Oh,
so
okay.
our group uses the tap from next door. Long story short, the tap broke last month.
Oh, boy.
And we forgot to fix it. So this time for the street cleaning, I was out there trying to get an attachment to fix it. And I was out there, it hadn't planned it, but I was out there at 8:07.
Ah, well, there you go.
And I wasn't thinking about it.
Perfect timing.
But she had soft shoes on. She walked by. I mean, I know who she is now because I've seen her a number of times. And she walked by in soft shoes. And I'm like...
I guess she figured there was nobody she needed to intimidate that day.
Like, oh, does she know about Tuesdays or something?
Yeah.
I don't know. So.
Now, do you ever do the thing that you splash the water out on the sidewalk?
In the summertime, yes.
Yeah, okay.
Of course.
That's a thing. Dave, what happened with the pressure cleaning tools they were using beside your store?
They worked on it all day yesterday. I know there's renovation work on the roof next door.
Okay.
All this month. We've got the schedule they've given us. And yesterday and today is supposed to be the pressure washing day. They've got, then they started up this diesel generator and pumps yesterday right in front of our building here.
Well,
actually, they pushed it a bit too far. I don't know, they were really too noisy, and it wasn't just me. All the nearby shops, we came out and ganged up on them and said, "Look, you guys, this is insane." And what they hadn't done also, they hadn't what's the word? Sheathed the front of the building, so they were spraying it,
and
it
it's
was
just going in
all
the
over.
street.
I mean, not just people walking by were running and screaming and yelling because the guys would be quiet for a minute. Then they'd start up this jet, and spray would come down over the sidewalk. So these guys really, it wasn't just me that was being upset about this. So.
Not very considerate.
No.
No jet lag yet. It's what, 8:10, 8:11 in the morning here. I got to my hotel last night about 6, and I managed to stay awake until 7. And I set an alarm for 3 hours, and I slept hard and woke up with the alarm. I stayed up for another couple hours, took a nap for a couple hours, got up, stayed up for an hour. So I was up this morning at about 5:45. I might have tried to stay in bed a little longer, but I had a place to be this morning.
Are you here for work?
No, this is 100% fun. I've never been here for work. It would be great if I could.
One of the first times you were here, do you remember, you did a travel blog or something. What were you doing? You set up a website, John in Nihon or something.
That was an address I had.
Pictures.
But in 2005, 2007, when I came over, I just built a little website to put up pictures and talk about what I did that day. That was before Facebook. I don't know if MySpace was available or whatever. But
that was for your friends back home, right?
Yeah, none of this has ever had a commercial angle to it. This has always been just for fun. I got interested in the wood. I started off interested in cloisonne. It's the enamel inlay metal vessels, vases, whatever. And started collecting that, and I needed something that didn't take up that much space. And woodblock prints are nice and flat, so I started seeing those on eBay. I bought a couple older pieces that talked about things in the 1800s, and I didn't know what they were, so I started doing the reading. And the more I read, the more I learned. I just got enamored with it. So ever since then, woodblock prints and just the history and culture here. And I helped to run a Japan travel group on Facebook, and we're up over 63,000 members right now. Maybe 100 active at any given time. But I've met friends, Dave, other people here in Japan, and it's been a blast. Are you
going to be photo blogging your trip this time?
I'm going to try to do a whole lot less of it, mainly because I would wind up. I would spend 2 or 3 hours back in the hotel room in the evening instead of doing stuff. So,
I think actually last time you were doing some live streaming on Facebook.
I did. In a couple places, usually just for a minute or two. If I was standing in front of Kaminarimon, nobody knew what that was, and here's this big gate and the big lantern. I did a long one. It was about 21, 22 minutes at Nihonbashi. If you know the history, well, if you don't know the history. That was kind of the beginning of a bunch of roads that led out of Edo, the old name for Tokyo. The Tokaido is the one you may have heard of, the Nakasendo, Nikokaido, a few others. And so that's always been, that's the first block or the first print in the famous 53 stations of the Tokaido. So it's always had a kind of a special place in my heart. And then I read about the history of the area. Before there was Tsukiji Market, there was the fish market on the north side of Nihonbashi. And Dave, you might remember me asking you about, now there's Ginza in Tokyo, which it's named after the old silver mint. Gin, gin is silver. Well, Kin, kin is gold. So why is there no Kinza? And you said it's just because that sounds funny. So I wondered about Ginza. Why is there no Kinza in Tokyo?
Do I remember this? No. Okay, again.
Well, and it turns out that where the gold coins were minted was right on the south side of Nihonbashi. and it happens that that's where the Bank of Japan and the Japan Stock Exchange, or the Tokyo Stock Exchange, that's where they're located. So the money didn't travel far from that area. It's also the flagship store of Mitsukoshi, a big department store that if you've ever been to Epcot in Florida at Disney, that's the department store you'll find there. You didn't know that, did you?
Nope.
I didn't think you did.
Did I need to? They're planning to get rid of the freeway now. You know,
I have heard that, and I know they can do it because they build everything else here. I just don't know how they fit everything underground here. There's how many subway lines? Like 14?
Let's go deeper, just deeper and deeper and deeper. If you came over today on the Oedo-san, to get down to it, the escalators like 10 escalators instead.
Yeah,
of
I didn't.
It just goes down.
I was
down,
just on the Tozai line and the Asakusa line.
Then there they are. The Ginza line here is cut and cover. You could,
Well, yeah, that was the first one. They didn't have to bury it deep.
So and they're just going down and down and down and down.
Yeah, you can't imagine.
They're way below sea level now.
All the subway lines, the private rail lines, highways above and below ground, and you wonder, how do they run electricity and water and sewer and everything else along with the train lines? It's got to go down 200 feet, and this is a low-lying area. There are places in Tokyo that are like 5 or 8 feet above sea level.
I remember reading about that at Ueno Station when they ran the new Shinkansen trains from Tohoku into Ueno Station. They did it on a sub-level, 2 or 3 or 4 down. And there are massive generators and pumps running 24/7 to keep the water out of the train.
Well, and they have huge water storage facilities underground to do flood control. I guess they're all located north of the city.
North and east, I think.
Yeah.
So they do tour shows now.
Yeah, and that's something I've never done, and maybe I should sometime. But these things are gigantic. They're very deep, very big, and they hold tons of water.
As a photographer, that's a huge, interesting challenge to get down there.
Yeah, well, that's an available light shoot. It's a little too big to try to run flashes, but it's anywhere you go here, there's fun, something to look at. When I got to the hotel, I put all my stuff down. I had to go out and I wasn't really hungry. They'd been feeding us on the plane, but I needed to have something. I just get on and get a little rice balls for breakfast. So I needed to find the Family Mart or 7-Eleven. I knew where it was. I walked over. And right on top of the wrong Itabashi station, the one at the Oedo line, is a building that I had seen in 2005. My hotel is right on top of Rikugen Garden, next to Tokyo Dome. It's a garden that's been there since the 1600s, very big, very fancy. And the family that owned it ceded a lot of the land, I think, to the shogun, or they sold it off or whatever, and they built Tokyo Dome on that land. But anyway, I had been to see the garden back in 2005, and the subway station has this weird structure on top of it. I took a picture of it, and I could never find it again in Street View or wherever else. And last night, leaving the hotel, walking to the Family Mart, there's this building. That was a surprise. So there's always something. You can go walking around any neighborhood in Tokyo. If you have Google Maps on your phone, you'll never get lost. But you just find stuff. There's always something. There's a lady writes a monthly column for Japan Times. Her name's Kit Nagamura. She writes a column at the beginning of every month, and it's just her walking around randomly in neighborhoods, and this is what she found. And people invite her in, tell the history of the company, or the things they're doing in their restaurant, and it's really interesting for somebody like me who comes over once in a while. That's the kind of thing that you wish you could do. If you spoke Japanese, you could just wander around and talk to these people and hear their stories. So I like to do that when I can. I've been talking a whole lot.
So how are the comments over there?
They're doing fine. Let's do our Command A and Command C there. Except Command A did not highlight everything.
If you clicked in there.
Command A.
Just click in there first. Where?
Oh, you have to click
into there. Try it now.
Command A.
Bingo.
Command C.
Bingo.
All right.
Just tops out there, so I can see
what's
passed through.
Yeah. All right. Chad is facing John. Yeah, yeah. Somebody asking.
So one person's
yes,
hands, another person's face. That's what we need. Another camera setup.
Well, yeah.
So.
To give you an idea, the laptop is backed up against. If you walk in the front door, which is over here, if you walk in the front door, the laptop is backed up against the left wall, and it's pointed at the right wall. And I'm facing the left wall, facing the laptop. Dave is sitting right here, right next to the laptop. And he's facing that wall. That was Dave. So it's. I heard years ago from somebody who went to see a taping of The Tonight Show with Johnny Carson out in Burbank, and they said, you know, he walks out. It looks like that big stage, and he's out there, does his monologue, and then they cut to the shot of a dock, and Johnny walks over to his desk and says, you get there, and the stage is about this wide. It's tiny. You know, they just show you the camera. They're backed up far enough to use a narrow view lens, so it looks like, you know, the stage is wide, but you're seeing right to the edges of the curtain. You know, 1 inch out of frame is everything else. So it's like that in photography too. I mean, the things that when I take a picture inside a house, you know, I have lights that are, you know, that far out of frame that you don't see, and hopefully you can't tell they're there.
I'm not quite sure what to do. We need the camera, of course, on the work, and then for another camera, whenever there's a guest here, we need a camera that shows you and me both together, you know.
Well, it would have to be there.
Yeah, but what that means then is we've got the built-in camera here on the computer. I've got one camera, so I need some kind of video interface board, and we start building ourselves this video studio. You know, how much can I
would say that
every day,
for when you're here by yourself, the camera you've got on your work, and then if you had another one up here looking that shows the carving bench, the light, the microscope, that would be.
The thing is, you saw me set this up this morning, literally 2 minutes before the stream. I went to the bathroom, I came back, plugged in the videos.
Honestly, it took him like 20 seconds to get everything set up and running, and there we were.
Because of this new interface. Before that, it was hours of 1.5 hours to get it. We shouldn't be dangling over too.
Yeah, it's hanging on a cable there.
But if I go to one more camera, then we need a video interface board, and we need like how long does it take to set up, and how much, what power, you know, whatever.
Yeah, I don't do video, so I don't know about any of that stuff. But yeah,
we're getting enough viewers and looking and interesting, and enough new people coming by that it should be more understandable here.
Yeah. So well, and honestly, you could do with just a little bit of light on your guest here, because I'm rim lit, but I'm
the
not
makeup girl couldn't make it this morning, John. I'm sorry, you know.
Well, but yeah, I ran late. I didn't get here. I was planning to be here at about 7:45, and I think I walked in like 5 minutes before 8. From my hotel, I had looked at everything, and I knew which station I needed to start from, and I knew where to go up here.
Hey, something happened, John, last night that made me really, really laugh. You've been planning on coming here for a couple of months, whatever.
Well, I bought these tickets in January, so yeah.
And one of the reasons for you coming here again is because of the photographs.
The photograph, yes. And today would have been the day.
Yep, I'm sorry about that. And I just thought I too many things. But it wasn't it? It was 2 years ago. You took a photograph from the sky.
Yeah, that was April. Yeah. It might have been April 2016.
I don't know. I should have keyed it up here. I'm sorry.
No,
do you have it?
I have it on Facebook, but I don't have it anywhere more accessible than that.
Okay.
But
I'm sorry not to be.
I had taken a picture from Tokyo Skytree. The upper level is 450 meters off the ground, and I noticed as I looked in this general direction, I'm looking at Sensoji Temple, which is that way about 5 blocks. And I noticed in one of my shots that I could see the Don Quixote, which is just down the end of the block behind us. And I thought, well, geez, if I can see that, I should be able to see the shop. And you could just make it out, but there was a little ripple in the glass. I was in focus on either side, but right on the shop, it was blurry. So
we're talking about a picture taken from over a kilometer away, you know.
Yeah, I figured it out. Ground distance is about 0.7 of a mile, so that's just over a kilometer. And then you add the elevation, so a squared plus b squared equals. It's about 3/4 of a mile straight shot. So I had taken that with a little Sony a6000 with a 210 millimeter lens on it. So effective 35 millimeter equivalent was 315, and it didn't anywhere near fill the frame. So what we're planning to do today, or not today, but this time around, I will be running a 500 millimeter lens and a 2x teleconverter. So I'll have effective 1000 millimeter lens. And it happens that every Nikon shooter, and I'm one, has been lusting after the D850, and I just picked one up a little over a week ago. So I'll be using this 47 megapixels plus 1000 millimeter lens, and I'll probably be Skyping with Dave on my phone while I'm doing it, and I'll probably be able to tell him, Dave, you need to comb your hair. I honestly believe I'm going to be able to get...
So what's the plan? I'm going to get up on the roof, right?
Yes, absolutely. Because Dave has access to the whole building, including the roof. We've been up there, and you can see Skytree clear as day. So it is a straight shot. It is doable with the vibration reduction built into the lens and a high shutter speed. I shouldn't have any blur. So today is a beautiful sunny day. Today would have been a great day for it, but I wasn't prepared.
I wasn't ready yet. So.
Yeah, and I had a little holdup this morning. It turns out I knew I had to get the train at Iidabashi Station to get on the Tozai line, and it turns out there are 3 different Iidabashi stations, and I found the first 2 that weren't the right station, and it took me about 15 minutes to find the right station. So we would have been delayed, but it still would have been doable.
What time does Skytree open?
8 o'clock. I looked it up.
Really?
Yeah, you can get up there at 8 o'clock
in the morning.
Mm-hmm.
No way.
That's first admission, so then you have to ride the elevator, and that takes another few minutes. You go up to the first level, then you have to go to, so.
Good.
But yeah, if I was there at opening, I could probably be starting the shoot at 8:15.
All right, then you're back in Tokyo then towards the end of the month, so
yeah.
Let's work up with Cameron this rental thing and the lens.
Yeah, well, and we have to make sure that we can do it on short notice, because we don't want to rent, if the weather isn't going to cooperate. Yeah. So I need a way to get in touch with him in real time, rather than rely on the emails. I got to crack the whip a little bit. Cause
yesterday there was 2 ladies here from Australia in the shop last night, and I actually didn't remember them. They had been here last year. They did a print party, and she said, one of them laughed and said, Dave, I guess it's clear you don't actually remember me, do you? And I said, I'm sorry, I it's too many people or whatever. She says, no, it's okay, quite all right. She wasn't upset, but she said, we're the ones that sent you that photograph. At that point, it started.
Oh, yeah. Oh, the one you showed me.
The one from the Grand Hotel across the street. It says, yes.
Different picture.
And they had seen yours, which you and we had posted at that time.
Okay.
They were in the Asakusa Grand View Hotel Asakusa View Hotel across the street.
Oh, yeah, the big one. Okay.
Yes, and it has a tiny angle where from one of the restaurant up on the 27th floor, you can see down to Mokonkan. And she had just whatever she had with her zoom up lens.
Right.
She took a photograph of the Mokonkan shop and sent it over.
Well, that's pretty great. So anybody...
But this is last night, and she was here again last night.
That's outstanding.
I said, wait a minute, you got it.
Yeah, you have to come about 3 or 4 times before Dave really starts to remember.
Come on, don't do this to me.
Well, yeah, so this could be the new Olympic sport for 2020 is photographing the building and Dave standing in front of it or something, or on top of it.
I'll need to, I guess, when we're doing this then next week or whatever date we end, I got to get a sign ready. Hi, Mom, or whatever the classic whatever.
I haven't looked. Is Mom here in the chat today?
I spoke to her last night. I asked her to get back in this chat. And what she said was
she is here.
Yes. She said she's been religiously watching and enjoying it. In fact, I can say this without embarrassing my mother, I guess. I asked her, Mom, please, type more in the chat, talk more in the chat. And she said, well, I don't want to bother those people, blah, blah, blah. Mom, don't worry about bothering them. We'd like to see you here, And she did say, and I can say this without embarrassing her, she said she's enjoying the people's comments and the feeling of community and being part of this. But she just felt that maybe she's a bit too shy. She didn't want to,
Yes.
So anyway, I can encourage her, Mom, please, join in, type in, say hello. People would love to see you here.
Ken Hallett just posted something that, She says, yes, I am here.
Okay, good.
Yeah, Ken Hallett just came up with a good suggestion. He said, I should go out and wave at the Sensoji live cam with a Moku Hankan.
Yeah, sign was on it.
Yeah,
it's not actually live 24 hours a day. I didn't realize that. When I first posted about I thought they had set it up and let it run. No, they don't. They turn it off and on and off and on.
Well,
so it's not always actually on. So if you subscribe to their channel a few times a day, you get this little notice saying,
camera not active. I didn't know that. I thought it was active all the time.
No.
But anyway, it's a beautiful, bright, sunny day. So yeah, maybe I take a walk over there when we leave here.
Do you know the active point to stand? Or
I can just stand in front of Hosoman on the Kaminari side. Yeah,
Sensoji itself's a bit too far
on
back.
the east corner. No, I've looked at the camera.
Okay,
so
well, let's set it up then, and I can get ready, and we can screen cap it or whatever when you're over or something.
We can do that. Yeah, I made an event on Facebook last night, just for my friends on Facebook to let them know that I'm live online from Mokuhankan.
This morning, you mean? So, so there's a bunch of new viewers here this morning.
Well, I haven't seen any names or anybody saying hello, but honestly, I probably should have worn glasses. I never wear glasses anymore. But who else can provide us with a photo of Dave wearing a dress? Ma Bull is our hero. It's nice that we've got this chat with a history, We have things.
My dress, my tattoo, I mean... just
everything. Well, that tattoo,
well...
Doesn't make sense to me that at home, now here on Dave's laptop, I have the live view, the live shot that you're seeing at home. I'm seeing that on the right-hand side of the screen.
This is the broadcaster software you're talking about.
Okay, I'm seeing it different. Everything's reversed. And I can't see how many people are in the stream.
Everything's reversed. What do you mean reversed?
This is over here at home, and that's over there.
That's just my own setup there. Okay.
Oh,
the video's not reversed or anything, right?
No. But the screen layout. Well, Dave's tribal tattoos, they do that in like New Zealand. Dave's is more, let's say, traditional Japanese. No,
enough already.
Let's not feed that. Koringami wanted to ask Fumi about Dave's tattoo, but she didn't stay on for long. Okay.
No, she's back home now.
Yeah, you missed that opportunity. Everything went okay getting home?
As far as I know.
Good, okay.
I really missed them once they're gone now. They were really good fun.
Well, yeah. I paid the $20 for internet access while I was on the plane and chatting with different people at home and over here. That was kind of fun. And I had, just for a second, I thought, as soon as I got on the plane, I got on the plane in Dallas, immediately set my watch to Tokyo time. And it was coming up on 8 a.m. and I was like, I wonder, no, it didn't work at all.
What, not enough bandwidth?
Nah, they barely enough to handle text.
Okay.
Yeah, so.
Join the stream.
That would have been so cool. I would have been over Alaska.
30,000 feet in the air,
Yeah.
Well, it's coming, obviously. That's, it'll be tomorrow when that's here.
Yeah, no, it's just a question of how much bandwidth they can get, but it was very spotty. It would shut down at times, and
So live streaming from your airplane seat is not an option yet.
Not yet.
But coming soon. Yeah.
And honestly, who would want to do that anyway? Who'd want to see it? Here I am. I've been on the plane for 12 hours, and we're still not there. It's from Dallas. It was about 13 and a half hours, and I managed to sleep about 2. So I was pretty worn down when I arrived.
Let's switch it for a sec. For the benefit of people who weren't here yesterday, let's have a look at what's going on here. Can you pop up the, I'll zoom out.
I probably can't, so.
Can you pop up that image? Look in here for the one that says, what does it say? Not there. No, just click the one that says 2019 series. Open it up. No, click the eye. No.
Wrong thing.
Cancel. Just open the eye.
Open the eye.
Show it. Bingo. Okay. This is next year's series print. And what we're doing here, you see the block, and I'm partway through carving it, cutting outlines here. And what's going to be happening here is this is the block. Here's the image of what I'm doing. This is the key block of the print. And this is going to be a little bit different from ukiyo-e prints. Most ukiyo-e prints have one key block outlining everything in the design, and then later on colors fill in among the outlines. Actually, John, can you pop that close? Because those guys are starting to deconstruct that building across the street. Yeah, thanks. This is so cool, just having people, please do this, please do that.
Yeah. I'm at your beck and call.
So Jed and I are doing this print in a bit of a different way. This is more of a shinhanga print than an ukiyo-e print. So we're going to stage this. You can see here, this is the key block outline. You can see where it's going to go. They're visible on the print over on the left, the outlines of the largest characters and the frame itself. After this is carved, I'm going to print it on transfer paper and then combine it with the next level down. And what this is a lighter gray. Now, you can see there's another set of characters partway into the distance. So we're going to achieve our distance effect by keeping strong dark at the front, closest point.
The outline, the frame plus the nearest figures are outlined in black.
Fairly dark, it'll be dark gray, and then going back in depth into this one. And so this block, it'll not be dark black. These are all dark black just to show the outlines.
Right.
But it will be a gray, and then the outlines of the next people farther back in.
Right.
Now, I can't carve that yet, because I don't quite know exactly where the outlines of these
So this is just
are.
a guide, it's not going to be what you actually use to carve.
This is the problem, because in Photoshop, the Jed's image is the starting point, but my knife may not trace exactly perfectly along these outlines. So after this is carved, I print it on the transfer sheet, combine it with this in Photoshop information, and we go back in depth. That'll be block number 2. And I can't prepare block number 3 until block number 1 and block number 2 are printed. I will then combine. I will print block 1 and block 2 onto the third transfer sheet and then combine it with the Photoshop information for this area. And this is a gray going farther back in space.
So it's a lighter gray.
Yes.
Okay.
And these will be filling in the lines that are carved, and this will be original information. Then when those 3 are carved, I do another transfer sheet, print it from 1 and 2 and 3, and then combine it with the Photoshop information from Jed, which gives detail on the temple. And it happens one more time for step 5, which will actually be printed in a red.
And that's more shading than it is.
This is the red that you see on the temple.
Oh, okay, that's
the red. So,
okay. And
some of these lines now, some of these people in the distance are now outlined. You can see it.
Yeah,
they're outlined in red,
orange
orange instead. Wow. So we stage this 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Then that gives me now all the outlines for the print, and the last 3 blocks, which I don't even have here yet, are going to be just flat color shading blocks that come up from the bottom that put the sky and then the lights and stuff like that. Yes. And then when all 8 blocks are done, at first stage, there's one more job to do. I will come back to Jed's Photoshop file, and I will print out the snow pattern. I will print it in black dots.
And that has to get transferred to
And I will print it 8 times, and that gets transferred to all 8 finished blocks. Well, not all, because I won't need it on the key block, because I asked Jed, keep the snow dots away from the lines. To don't give me any trouble. And he's done it. All the snow dots there, none of the snow dots, they were, but we moved them around. I moved the snow here and there, up and down, to make sure it wasn't on the lines. So step by step by step by step, we're going to build this thing. And this is going to cause me a real big problem throughout the year. It's an interesting way to make prints. It's a very efficient way to make prints.
Mic is fuzzy. Are we overloading the mic? Or?
Oh, it's got a compressor. It's sitting right between me. Maybe I'm just talking too loud and I'm getting too enthusiastic.
Okay.
What was I saying? Yeah, it's going to cause me problems during the year. That's my mother, who usually does this to let me know something's going wrong.
Maybe she was trying to get us to pay attention to... there's a bunch that are coming in about the sound. So, yeah, she was getting our attention, I think.
Well, can I borrow the machine back again here?
Sure.
Guys, watch the sound. Bet pull to Skype. Mic is fuzzy. Mutual audio... Hang on a second, let me see. The mutual audio testing. 1, 2, 3.
Yeah, I was looking at it. Didn't look like we were spiking too hard.
Even when he's talking quietly about. So let me turn this mic off for a minute. And I will turn the mic on the MacBook back on.
That'll make you really hard to hear.
Okay, well now we pick up the fan noise from the computer.
Right.
Okay, let me know what's happening. I've taken off the plug-in mic now, and I've plugged in the MacBook audio. Thanks, Mrs. Bull. Thanks, Dave. This has become a thing now. Okay.
Okay.
No idea? Don't bat us off so quickly, Dave. Mic is fuzzy. How far back? Save us, John. The mic is screwy. See, you should have been reading things.
That's
You're
the
doing
thing.
your job, man.
I'm too busy
hey.
looking at the...
No, you're too busy listening to me. Don't listen to me. Pay attention.
well,
So, well, was that description all understandable, or was the audio so bad that we couldn't tell anything that I said? Now I don't. Now I need to know. Do we need to roll back here, or what?
the buzz is coming from the lav. No, it's not.
The lab. He means
Oh, the
he means
lavalier.
lab,
Okay.
lavalier microphones.
No messages below.
Whatever.
Here.
We can muck with it later. I can't muck with
Okay.
it now. As long as you can hear us now. Just scroll. 2 fingers. It's 2 fingers scroll. Sorry.
Okay.
If you go in there, 2 fingers will.
Yeah.
Anytime you're in a window, 2 fingers
Yeah,
scrolls up
that's
and
an
down.
Apple thing. Okay. Hear you, but there's a
Okay,
slight
so
clicking
the
noise.
information
Well, the
got-
clicking
okay.
noise is probably from outside. Okay. So,
So anyway, what I was trying to say was it's a really, really neat way. Yeah, it's a really, really neat way to build prints.
yeah.
But there are downsides. One downside is that there are many places in the print where there are actually no black lines bounding areas. For example, if you look at the very top of the temple, there's no boundary line between the temple and the sky. Now that's okay on this design because the sky color is a related tone to the temple roof, and we can carve the sky underneath the temple,
Right.
so there will be no white gap. But in the very next print we're making, there's going to be a Mount Fuji scene and stuff like this and blah, blah, blah. The sky cannot underlay part of it.
Right. It
And
has
that's
to match
really difficult.
just right.
So it's, and the second problem is that I'm doing this one. I'm a carver, I'm a printer. I carve the first block. I carefully arrange this, I print it carefully onto the transfer sheet, put in the information from Photoshop. Because I know how to carve, I know how to print, I know how to deal with Photoshop. Kawasaki-san, the young girl down in Kobe, she is going to be the main carver on this job. She cannot do those things. So we're going to be, we might as well get a private jet between us.
Yeah,
She
it's
carves
nice
one
size.
block, sends it back to me, I proof it, mix it with Photoshop information, paste it on the wood, send it back to her. She sits here with 2 days, shipping both ways with nothing to do. How are we going to work? So you're grinning at me here. I don't know, I don't know.
That does not sound like an efficient process.
No, it doesn't indeed. So our plan B is that me and John-san, the young boy from Hong Kong, will do the series this year, back and forth and back and forth. In that case, I need something else for Asakusa to do regular steady employment, of course. So no problem. Go back to Jig, get some more Ukiyo Heroes design. So there we go.
Sure.
That's plan B. Plan
He
C.
has time.
So I don't know. So I've got a real logistics staff situation to work out this
Yeah.
year, and I'm not quite sure how to do it.
Yeah, actual physical stuff doesn't lend itself to telecommuting.
No, that's it. So I mean, we're she's a carver dealing with pieces of wood. So, and we'd like her to come and live in Tokyo and do this, but I can't ask her to rearrange her whole entire life. She lives with her mother, doesn't want to move out, doesn't want to be here in Tokyo.
It's not that easy.
I like it, but for someone who doesn't live here,
I always, my impression of the cities, I looked at, Tokyo is kind of New York. It's fast paced, it's sophisticated. Kyoto is more like Boston. It's more patrician.
pretentious.
Pretentious. It presents itself as more cultured. And Osaka is more like Chicago. It's the rough and tumble kind of working class city.
Okay, this is all very well, but what you're missing there is one very, very important thing that's related to the physical size of these cities. People have the... Morning, Cameron. Simon.
There's a Cameron clone.
Grab a stool, come on in, sit. Have you met John? Did you meet John before or not?
Yeah,
No, we haven't.
but I met you through
Well,
the
yeah,
internet many times.
We just talk on that.
Grab a stool,
Yeah,
Cameron.
Cameron's
Simon.
here.
Sorry.
There's room for, and Cameron remembers to Command A and
Whatever.
Command C.
The thing about Tokyo and Kyoto, the general impression from people that haven't been here and haven't seen it is, okay, Tokyo is big, monstrous, gigantic, busy. Kyoto is physically a much smaller city.
Right.
But actually, in practice, Kyoto is frantically crowded and more
With
difficult.
tourists.
Yes, well, not just tourists, but even it's a small city in a bowl, and it is crowded.
Mhm.
Tokyo is so big and so vast, and so many cities mixed together.
It's true.
There's lots of quiet places and scenes,
Yeah.
and even in busy areas in Asakusa, you can still stroll around. Whereas Kyoto now is
Except for
unbearable.
Nakamise,
Whatever.
in the middle of the day, you don't want to come in.
Yeah.
That's what the alleys behind the shops are for.
Yep.
So Kyoto, I don't know, they have a real crisis now. A real crisis.
Yeah,
Some
no,
temples
it's-
are shutting. Not
the,
enough people in.
The Japan travel group that I helped to run, there were people talking about they want to go to Kyoto. Yeah, great. If you want to go to Fushimi and Ari, get there at 6 in the morning.
Yeah.
Otherwise, it's going to be packed. You want to go to the Bamboo Grove,
Yeah.
go there
Forget
at
it.
6 in the morning.
But actually, it's funny because that's the advice we've been giving people: go early in the morning.
Yeah.
And I've now heard from people that
It's starting to get
it's,
crowded
yeah,
early.
it
Yeah.
doesn't even help. There's lineups at all these places when it gets open. So.
And there are people who love going to Fushimi at night
Yeah.
because it's sort of lit up. You know, it's
Mm-hmm.
not just walking around in the dark. It's a whole different atmosphere. I have not been there in the nighttime.
Yeah. It's nice. I've been there as the sun sets, so I haven't seen it late at night where it's
Yeah.
really dark. But they
Yeah.
do start turning on the lights and stuff around sunset. And
Could make.
but it's pretty, yeah.
I always think of anything on the east side of Kyoto like that or Kimizudera. You've
Yeah.
got the view of
Yeah.
the city.
Right.
Get there in the morning because then you've got the sun behind you.
Right.
Cameron, just to note, it seems we had technical issues a while ago.
So the microphone
They were all yelling, screaming at us
buttons.
because the microphone wasn't working. So I've switched the mic at the
Oh.
moment. It's not the
So
lav
it's here.
mic; it's now the computer mic. So.
Okay.
And we had my mother phone Skype too to let us know to look
Oh,
at the
yeah.
screen. 'Cause,
Mother saves the day again. Tokyo is more like a state in the U.S. It's bigger than some states in the U.S. So
of course,
maybe
anything is
Connecticut.
bigger than some states.
But some tiny states and some huge ones.
Is that a motor drive, John?
That is the zoom in the flash.
It's the zoom in the flash.
When
You're
I
over
zoom-
my head now.
Yeah.
When I zoom the cam, well, not this lens because it's an older lens, but the newer lens is when you zoom in and out, the zoom head and flash zooms in
Understand?
and out. So
Soka. Okay.
Focuses it
Yeah.
to the right.
Oh, we're way past my pay grade now.
if I'm not taking pictures, what am I good for anyway? So.
Cameron, about the rental of the lens and stuff, I was thinking John was weeks away. I didn't
Yeah,
realize he was
it
coming.
is.
So yesterday
It's
when his
sweet.
email came, it just hit,
Yeah.
what? Oops, already. So you are in the loop, and this just you hadn't realized it was happening
Didn't
quite so
realize
soon.
it was happening today. Yeah. Or very
Well,
soon.
actually, and you can see it would have been just perfect.
Yeah.
But I don't know how much lead time you need for the rental. I don't know
I'm
if
sure
you
either
just
I've
call
never
them up.
rented.
I haven't
So.
myself even in the States, so and it's one of those things that you don't want to do it until the afternoon before because you want to be sure if the weather's going to be right.
Right.
So what, you're here in Tokyo for a couple of days now before heading out of town? Is that
I
right?
actually head out tomorrow to
Oh, okay.
Midway.
And then you're back in the 20th, 21st or
I'll
something.
be back the 22nd or 3rd.
Oh, okay.
So today's our last chance to sort of see.
Okay.
Well, actually, we could, if the weather's not going to be good tomorrow morning. If it had been a good weather day,
We could do
I
it
just
right
have to
now.
check out of the
morning,
hotel,
yeah.
dump my stuff here. And,
Yeah. Away from the.
yeah. Oh, I guess we can take a picture there.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
Dave
People
just-
know what.
Dave just
Walking,
ran
okay.
through the rundown of the blocks
Okay.
and what's what.
Great.
Ooh, that's a nice one. The master at work.
With the camera?
No.
You done it yourself?
No, I took the picture of you working.
Yeah.
The real master at work. Yeah, no, I got a good picture.
If only I remember to cut my fingers.
Yeah, for me. Let's see.
Cameron, John got initiated into the inner sanctum today
I
at
did.
8:07.
8:07. Oh.
Didn't get a good look at her face, but I did. I was surprised. I thought she was going to be more like. Sorry to go back to imperial units, but more like 5'6" and about 140 pounds. She's like 5'2" and probably 100 pounds.
This is Japan.
I know, but still.
I
People,
haven't seen. So.
people come in all shapes and sizes.
Cameron's restrained himself,
Yeah.
but also he's not here that early.
Yeah, I'm not used to hear that.
You owe it to yourself just one day.
One day.
Yeah, explain it to us all. I gotta hit the Mokonka this month. Is this lady I gotta see? Yeah,
That's right.
Good luck with your wife on that one.
A picture of Dave at his carving bench, a rarity these days.
It's not that rare.
No.
I think it was sent with a dose of suicide.
Not possible.
Accordion gun.
Just turn down the volume. Oh, sorry. Spoiler alert!
I don't want to hear a description of what she looks like, John. So if you do it, please announce spoiler alert first.
Well, I do apologize.
You kept your camera in
I did. Well, it's. I can't
You
really
got big
fit
pockets.
This in, yeah, I don't have pockets that big. This is.
These are just an older lens.
This is a great lens.
This one that's been around for a long time.
This is probably from the 90s.
Nice.
I don't know if anybody on the if any Nikon shooters are out there, you'll be able to see. I can hold it right up to the camera. The old Nikon D lenses, the AFD lenses, they're fantastic, and they're older, so they're cheap.
Yeah.
The current, this is a 35 to 70 zoom f2.8. A current equivalent, the 24 to 70 VR lens is $2,000 or close to it, and I got this on eBay for $350.
Yeah. Wow.
And I use it all the time for workhorse, and it's super sharp. So
eBay's the best place to get old lenses.
it's a good place.
It's a good-
The best place if you're in the States is KEH.com.
Okay.
I'm right in between needing distance glasses and reading glasses for this chat.
Oh.
Yeah, when I'm at home,
Come
it's
closer.
here. It's
Me
fine.
too,
No, I'm
me too.
fine.
So I can carve, I can read the chat, but I can't do both.
Right. Yeah, I've seen you change glasses.
Once
I
or
didn't
twice,
bring any
so-
glasses with me. When I'm working, when I'm shooting real estate, I have a camera on a tripod, and the camera has the flip-out display screen on
Right.
the back. Can you see that?
Yeah.
I don't know if you can see that.
So you don't
Anyway.
run tethered to a laptop or something? So you
No.
use it.
No, I don't. I just use the screen on the back, but it flips up, so I don't have to kneel down to see what's on the screen.
Right.
But I do have to wear half-frame readers
Yeah.
because I want to be able to see out in the room, but then I have to see the back of the camera.
See what you're taking a picture of, and then see what came out.
And this
More
is,
and more people are coming here for interviews and stuff. We see them, they're tethering all the time. Open the laptop, so because the screen's large enough to see what.
that does help. If I wanted to, there's a thing called a Cam Ranger that you can run the camera from an iPad.
Oh.
All your settings, including focus. And then you've got the iPad to look at. But I don't need that for this. And I should use it for real estate, but I don't. It's one of those things that you get used to.
Those
doing
little
things
screens
that
are
you
just
do.
too small. I just can't.
I can zoom in and see if I'm in focus. That's the most important thing. Excuse me, coughing this one.
Getting sick right at the
I'm
beginning
not
of your trip.
sick. No, if I talk a lot, my throat tends to.
Yeah.
Anyway, I am talking a lot this morning. Just filling up all those awkward silences. They
Awkward
usually has.
silence.
Silence isn't a problem.
Yeah, this is not one of those ASMR streams this morning. This is not animated, John, but talkative John. Chatty John.
Try plugging in the extra mic again, see if it's still fuzzy. Someone
They're
suggested.
still plugged in. What it is, you can try it. Here's the two. What is, there's the two volumes.
Oh,
In other
yeah.
words, that's the lav
turn
mic.
this
You
one
can
up.
turn it up. But don't leave both running because they slightly offset each other. And, so.
How are we doing? You'll have to
Can
let
you
us
hear us at
know.
all?
Yeah, Kodingami suggested that I drink some Orangina, but I don't think so.
If you're testing mics, you have to talk. So
Yeah.
Yeah. So are we fuzzy? Were you clear?
They're saying fuzzy, fuzzy, fuzzy.
well,
Oh, okay. Sorry. We'll switch back.
What you can do, it's plugged in to the major one, release. It's now plugged out.
Yeah, it's a skinny. I mean,
It's
this
just
is
a-
supposed to be a skinny cable for.
It's a lav, of course. Whether it's finally lost its cabling or something, I don't know. Let's plug it back in. Just a sec. I can't see which one it is. Okay, back in.
Okay.
Right. How are we now? Are we
this
still
any better?
fuzzy? Any better? Test, test, test. Now good.
Now good.
Not fuzzy like it was.
I suspect
We-
an older cable now. 'cause
Yeah.
it's a
Something
very
could be
delicate tip. So
slightly
this
off.
is
Yes.
15 years old.
Skinny
No,
cables.
bad, no, rip,
Fuzzy.
RIP, fuzzy, still crackling. Okay.
Okay.
Tell me if this is too loud. I'm not sure if I set it back to the right.
It's, yeah, it's skinny cables with no string.
Of course.
Type thing. So,
Oh,
still
and
fuzzy,
gee.
Kirk.
I think
Jeez.
that's from the previous.
I hope so. All right, tell us now. Are we better? Or are we?
You're going to be picking up family. So.
Yeah, Mike is having a breakdown.
ASMR. Sounds good now. Okay. We'll go with this for today. There's a question back here. How would you say it? Sulimu, maybe? As a clumsy person, I see this fine carving, and I'm wondering if it would be possible to cheat and carve thick lines and then just file them down to the desired thickness. Do people do that, or do you usually just
File.
not file, but I think make it thick,
Go
make
into
it
the
thick, and then
Dremels.
just slowly shave it down little by little?
I suppose
Probably
it would
what they
take a long time.
say. Yeah.
No, I will do some adjustments after test printing. I print it out and come back, and I will shave the lines here and there. Make them a bit thick. So yeah, you couldn't make it a way of working. It's just too much time.
Can you stand up and take some pictures right up here?
Oh, that's what Cameron said. Real work, real work. The gift page is now open. It's up.
All right.
It's up and running. It's
That's good
active.
news.
It's up. I didn't make any announcement yet. I
Okay.
didn't send it
Well, we can
emails.
do
That's
that.
today's job. But the page itself is now open.
Takes this. There's a scan.
Kingfisher prints for everybody.
Woodblock.com/gift. It's now actually open. And it's also, I put the same print into the Mocha Hong Kong catalog.
Great.
And this is really confusing actually because the gift page is on woodblock.com, which we really, at this point, don't use much for commerce anymore.
Right, just
But
for
it's
the gift
still
print
a
page.
historical, just for the gift print page. So the print itself is in the Mocha Hong Kong catalog with its normal settings, but it's on the gift page as well.
Ken Howell says, I've already placed my order.
So
I haven't looked at the emails yet, so I'll get back to you as soon as.
There's probably one from, what is it, DD 1951.
Yeah.
And the final test proofing yesterday, Studio I went through it, and we found out what I think is a nice balance.
Great.
We gave up, or not give up, how much we're trying to make it look exactly like a watercolor painting
Yeah.
with 16 gradations on the green and stuff like that. So we just backed off.
Yeah.
It's purely a woodblock print version.
Great.
I think it's good. It's not a home run like last year's was. It's not going to do that. It's fine. I'm happy. It's a quiet, peaceful little project.
Is it taboo to ask when a new video will be made?
No, we're getting closer actually now. Now that the gift print is up and running, and now that the autumn season has peaked, we're now in. It's still going to be busy the next couple of weeks, but it's peaked now.
Yeah.
We're now in the down slope. I've got that out of the way. My priorities right now are getting this subscription print ready. The next video will be announcing the new subscription series. And then after that, next video will be David's Choice number 7, talking about some of those small sent you off the type prints that we have.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, videos are not abandoned, absolutely, but priorities have to happen.
Yeah.
With me, the main reason that the main method of sorting out my priorities is who's waiting downstream. You know, if I can get this finished, the printers can take over. If I don't get it finished, the printers are sitting there waiting for me. So,
Right.
So it's the downstream flow that is my main contributing factor to what I do.
So Dave's choice video is in the works, and then the person who initially asked about the video says, "If that's true, yes."
Yes, but
It's not tomorrow.
So it won't be tomorrow. I'm sorry. No. In recent weeks, there's been so many people in the shop who have seen the video on planes and who are new YouTube fans and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And the comments in person here in the shop about the videos, it's just so heartwarming.
Yeah.
People are really, really digging this stuff. You know, I don't know what to say. It's just so much fun for me to know that people are watching those things and enjoying them so much pleasure.
Yeah.
It really is fun for me. It's just,
I just got the, how do you say that? Sakhalin, Sakhalin, Meiji Black Party print in the mail. And wow, those lines are so thin.
Yeah. That's
Someone
cool.
said.
So. And remember, that was just a hack work. Just the guy just carving a quick illustration for a magazine. You probably don't know what I'm talking about. But
I've seen the pictures on the Meiji Black Party page.
That was just hack work. But, oh God, the hacks were just so good at what they did. It didn't make any difference. Wow. Meiji carving, just incredible. There's a reason John hasn't seen it. We did a show and tell yesterday. I'll just pass it to look at it. Don't put your camera away from it. Oh, you broke it already.
Oh, no. Thousands of dollars worth of prints. Go on.
That was yesterday's show and tell. And, yeah, it was so cool. I took it upstairs to Subi-san and Rei-chan and Chon-san. Chon-san was here. And they just went, can I say, they just went, shit. It was just fabulous watching. But you got to see them under a light.
Yeah.
Actually, we took one of them out. I can do a quick mini show and tell here. Yesterday's album, we were so, I was so eager to try and show the people, the staff here, how these things were printed. We managed to get one print removed from the album already. So here, you guys took at the album. Here is one print from yesterday's album. This is what we did as a show and tell yesterday. These are Taisho era woodblock prints. They're reproductions of early era ukiyo. This is a Kiyonaga design, reproduced at slightly smaller size. And it's on a thick, luscious paper. And the printing quality is so smooth, just every single one of our staff members has looked at this with a jaw big. How did they do that? Her hair is printed on the key block black, and yet the eyes and mouth aren't smudged. The rich black is just perfectly rich black. There's things like this. You can see his feet are underwater, and they have another tone on them.
Wow.
They've gone to all this time of trouble to do this. His feet are actually
Slightly blue.
Yeah.
Wow.
The colors are just so rich and so deep. This is printed with a thick, rich color, but there's no tamari, no pasting inside all the lines. Mm-hmm. This one, I can tell you, my finger can feel the bumpiness on this thing.
Yeah.
And then on the back, which is what we wanted to see, which is why we took it out of the album, we can see, I don't know if it's going to show camera or not. What I'm trying to show here is the vigorous strength of the rubbing of the bearing tool. These lines, strided lines. I don't know if they're showing on the camera now.
Mm-hmm. They look pretty good.
And the power of the bearing. So we suspect, because it's such thick paper, we think it was printed with a fairly dry paper, not dry, but it's fairly on the not so wet side.
Yeah.
So that the pigment don't come through to the back.
Mm.
And yet with huge, vigorous rubbing pressure. Insanely powerful rubbing pressure. There's even scratch marks on the back of the paper from the bearing strength. Wow. And we're just trying to figure out, how did they do this? The paper is very soft. The sizing is not really pipe-y. It's not really brittle, stiff sizing. So.
Wow, the black looks so
Yeah, it's so rich.
And so
rich.
even.
And the paper is so smooth, and the eyes are open at that scale. We have no idea how to do it. No idea. Anyway, the album has 47 of these prints. We got it for 36,000 yen.
Yeah.
these are not going in the shop. These are going in our collection. Sort of tease people. Right?
This is going to be a great museum.
It is going to be fantastic. The museum is not the word I want to use. Museum is dusty old dry stuff, preserved, blah, blah, blah. I don't know the right word to use. We want to show and tell. The Mokonkan show and tell, whatever. I don't know what word to use for this. Gallery means show and tell. I don't know. I don't know.
Gallery's probably closer.
But gallery sounds like it's a selling place. It won't be for selling. I don't want to have it to be, coming here and buy stuff. So I don't know what word to use. It's a combination of those two things, museum and gallery. I don't know. Whatever. We'll worry about that detail when we get there.
The carving and printing. When you get that to come together, like this is just phenomenal.
But remember, the supply chain is such a huge part of it. The paper and the board and everything.
Everything had to come together.
We've got the space upstairs ready now. The space that used to be the shop up until earlier this year. The prints, now we've got more than enough prints. I could run a different exhibition every couple of months for the rest of my life without repeating. And we've got the enthusiasm and we've got the knowledge and what we're seeing. And that's the thing that other museums don't have. They don't know what they're seeing for the most part. I know, whatever, the British Museum has curators, they know something about their stuff. Yeah. But here, we've got the perfect combination of me and the other staff. We know exactly what we're seeing, and how to point out to people how beautiful it is.
Yeah, this is just flawless.
And it's cheap stuff, What those are, John, these are subscription prints published in the 19-teens and the 1920s. They were published a couple of times a month. People get 2 in a package for a very cheap price. They were cheap subscription prints.
Okuhankan's Cookies and Print Cafe.
Yeah, it's all going to be wrapped up together, So the cafe would be somewhere downstairs. You've got your member's card that gets you access to the little museum room upstairs. Yeah, buy cookies for a souvenir. I mean, the business model is there. Absolutely.
Exhibit or showcase.
Sure, you want to get involved in food service?
No, outsource. Absolutely, of course not. We're not going to cook ourselves or make cookies ourselves, but we've got the concept. It's our brand. So, no way am I going to make food, of course.
Page did this come from?
There's so much
Oh,
room.
there we go.
No,
There's an empty page.
Also, I was very happy to see yesterday that print came out very easily. The glue that they pasted in was very brittle, so I can
good.
pop it off. So I won't need to soak
That's
this
good.
album. I won't need to soak. Happy to join the stream. Just you guys haven't been passing on what's been happening, so I've got no idea what kind of chat is going on.
yeah, I kind of fell down on the job there.
They were talking briefly about lino prints, and someone asked, what are Dave's thoughts about them? Linoleum blocks, and someone else says, usually he doesn't think about them.
No, I mean, not in any insulting way. I don't know anything about it. That's all I can say. I'm sorry. It's outside of my experience.
Yeah, you just don't have experience with it.
The way they lay on colors is much more opaque than we do, so it doesn't really match at all the way we create designs. So I'm sorry, I just don't have any experience with it.
Ombre tropical. Is that the tropical feather? No. Oh. It says, if I ever go to Japan, I'll be sure to visit. Yeah, come on back. Open every day but Tuesdays.
It's even with all the pictures that were posted of the construction and when it was done, it's
So the
different
first time
coming
for you,
in
the
here.
first floor. Yeah, of course. So
It's this is really a fantastic environment.
it's still, we're still building out, We haven't got the green plants in there. We haven't built the corner for subscription prints. It's just so much still to go,
But it's wonderful to walk in here and everything is so well sorted. But that's kind of Dave's job is making things well sorted.
It's an empty little shop, though, compared to people that are familiar with the print shops down in Jimbo Shoulder.
Well, yeah, those are just warehouses with drawers instead of
Well,
shelves.
sure, I mean, I love them.
No, they're great to pour through if you have the time and the knowledge. I haven't been down there in years.
I'll come, another show that they've got tons of stuff. It's
Yeah.
junk and treasures. I'd love to be in there more often.
Is that a way to
This is
source our
another,
flea market?
another one that Dave doesn't remember is when I was planning my trip in 2007 and we arranged to meet in Oman. I didn't know the geography for one thing, and I didn't know that Dave kind of filled up his schedule that much. I said, hey, if you want to, we'll go down to Jimbo Show and we'll hit the stores. And he's like, can't really do that.
Yeah.
And then I saw how Dave lives and works, and it's like, hits the floor in the morning and he's working until he drops at night. And that's pretty much Dave's day. And you will rarely find people as single-minded as Dave.
Twitch error code 2000. I have no idea what that might be.
They sent you that.
There, and someone said, I'm getting Twitch error code 2000.
What's our stream health showing at the bottom? Is it green on the
problems at
drop
all,
frames and stuff like this? Or?
Happens every now and then. Nothing you can do but restart the stream.
I think that's a receiver. I think.
Yeah.
Recently, this and our Wi-Fi problems. That's cool. What's this camera doing? Touching the
That's me.
Actually, another thing we never get a chance to do here is because the camera sits here by itself. We don't have a camera operator. You got to pan, zoom, look around the room, stuff like that.
Probably just as well.
Most of the time you don't veer too far out of that.
So, Cameron, John and I were talking about this earlier. If we're going to do this, having guests and stuff more often, we really need a better camera setup. Because this is so new people walk in, you see my hands, John's face, like, what's going on?
How can he carve
A third camera, just a
I'm up
third
here.
camera that would show the two of us sitting and stuff, and
Yeah.
the three of us. Now, I'm not
Yeah.
sure where it would be if they were.
It would
If there were a camera in there, just think about
probably
that.
like right at the top corner
Yeah,
of the
and
north.
we've got space, and if that camera put out this way,
Mm-hmm.
my problem is the interface. I've got two USB ports. Actually, I have a free USB port,
Yeah,
but I'm not sure if I buy another Magewell,
yeah.
can this machine take 3 video inputs and
It's
do
an
something
Apple, of
sensible
course
with
it
it?
can.
It's a 3-year-old Apple. I don't know about
Well.
that at all. I can't find out till I have to buy another major one. They're a few $100 each, $400 each.
Yeah.
But I could really do this because the broadcaster software will take it.
Yeah.
That's no problem. I can easily do that in the OBS broadcaster.
Yeah.
And we can set up scenes where we can change back and forth from one scene to the next. So I'm just thinking another camera right there looking
Yeah.
down people. Which we could
Didn't
use
you-
on guest days.
With the iPad, didn't you do it with 3 video inputs?
Yes, but it delays. It's got
Oh, that's right, it had that delay issue.
and also it staggers the CPU. Brought it to its knees. So it was a fill-in that worked when this other video was.
When John walked in this morning, did he go take the paper out of the freezer?
Nobody reminded me. Well, I didn't see the stream. They may have reminded me. I actually did do it. I got out
You
of my
did
shower.
that?
I remember both. I cut my fingernails and I took the paper out of the shower. So
Okay. I should have remembered that when I walked in.
all goes.
Wow.
Distractions. So nothing from the construction next door. Have they finished, or was our?
Yeah,
did our
that's really
screen-
quiet.
Well, not just me. We all screamed at him pretty heavily yesterday because we were really overboard what we should have done. So we were backed up. They were pouring water over the sidewalk. Did you
Yeah,
see
it was
that?
all over the place. It was a mess. You can get a powered hub. I got one recently and used 2 cams, a mic, and have extra ports. Some Abyss series.
Oh, just the USB hub.
Yes
yeah.
and no. So you talk about mixing video in the hub or mixing it in the broadcaster. So I better bring the 2 videos independently.
He's got a
into
link,
the
so
broadcaster.
see. And he's got a 3rd camera soon to hook up to it, so it has lots of things. Maybe we'll take a look at that later.
But
Interesting.
it seems like if they all go into the same hub, you're condensing them all down to one
I don't know. So
Yeah.
where are we mixing? I don't know. So
Let's see what it can do. Mucho más. Yes, the 3-year-old Apple has probably a 5th generation Intel CPU, probably, but it wasn't the iPad CPU that was going crazy.
it was the
It was
communication between the two, of course.
Yeah, it
over
was
Wi-Fi.
the laptop's CPU that was working extra hard.
No, it was the delay Wi-Fi delay between the two.
Oh, it was a wire. Wow, that's
That's it. Okay, I'm finished the line work on this one, I believe, unless I forgot something. These people are all outlined, which means the next part of this job is labeled persuaded. What's our time frame here? What's the schedule?
It's
here?
10:15. Yeah.
Oh, okay. So it's we're starting a little bit matrix. Okay, what I can do, I'll just rinse that.
I got to see the Persuader. It's right down here next to Dave. So,
The normal part of a job like this, I know, is stage one. It's a three-stage process for all these blocks. Stage one is the cutting of the lines over the entire block. And you cut the lines and you pop out some of the corners, so that the coming up tools can go in the corners. The corners are popped out. So stage one is finished. Stage two will be noisy, and stage two involves using larger tools to clear away the unwanted areas. We look at them as oceans. The ocean is on the land areas. That'll be stage two. It's going to be noisy. But once that's done, stage three is the smaller chisels, the boneless chisels, which come up and clean away to the lines, because I can't bring larger chisels to the line itself. I kind of need it on. And that leaves a little zone next to the lines, which gets cleaned. That's stage two. So every block has those three steps: line cutting, ocean cleaning, and cleaning. What's the schedule? Today is, I don't know, the date is
Today's
give me a hint. Today's Thursday. So,
I'm having a hard time.
so
Have
I've
to get
got,
in the swing.
I've got the set of pieces of wood ready for this, as I said before. Once first block is finished, which may happen, if I get a chance to do this today during the shop hours, then tomorrow morning stream may be starting block number two as we go down that line, block one, block two, block three, block four, block five. So, I'm not quite sure.
Dave, don't mumble. We can't hear you. I don't think you're doing it.
We're not
Oh,
on this
we're not on that
microphone.
mic. Sorry about that. I'm not a mumbler. I think I know.
No, you don't mumble. You just speak very quietly. He was going into Bob Ross mode.
Michael, what do I do now, though? Do I go out and buy another microphone ready for tomorrow's stream, or do I assume that was a temporary glitch? No, what do we do? How do we test this thing? That's also the mic I use for my YouTube video recording. So if it's in trouble, I've got to replace it. So, and it is old. I've had it for well over a decade.
Well, you got your money out of it. Next one has to be wireless.
That's what I was thinking. Do I need a wireless microphone? Another level of technology to
Do a binaural next.
Makes me think of that scene with Spinal Tap when the guitar player you start hearing the traffic control tower of his guitar.
The binaural mics don't make so much sense for this stream because we don't go anywhere. We don't have any motion on the camera. Binaural mics make sense when you're in a 3D environment,
Right.
when things are changing and things are happening. So
If
sitting
you're
there-
hammering over here and then over there,
Yeah, makes sense. But just sitting and talking to this doesn't do anything.
But can you just have it? Just mix them together, turn it into a mono
Just
stream?
use it as the mic.
Yeah.
Yes and no. Binaural mics go in my ears,
right.
so it means I can't
Hear too
chew.
well,
I
right.
can't.
Right.
Well, I can hear over top of them, but if I go, and
Yeah,
let's say you're
everything
hearing
gets
me,
amplified.
no.
Okay.
So when I did those YouTube videos that I did with binaural, I have to really much, Dave, don't click your teeth, don't move your tongue, hold your jaw steady, don't do anything, because every sound I make with my mouth goes right into the audio.
If he thinks too loud,
Whatever,
Yeah.
it sits here, it's a joke, but not much of a joke, actually. So. And I had a number of false starts, because it took me a while to get used to that. After, you forget, after 30 seconds go by,
Yeah.
and you just move your mouth. When we do this, even when you're by yourself, you move your mouth. And it goes right into the audio. So I was, Dave, be quiet. The other thing you have to do is when you turn the camera, you have to turn your head. Because if you turn your head like this, it totally, absolutely
Make
screws
people
up.
see something.
Yeah. Breaks the immersion. If the audio doesn't match.
There's another story related to the shoe lady story that's coming in. No, don't play with me. People who've seen my Great Wave series, this Great Wave episode number 11, has this thing for the last 5, 6, 7 minutes where I put the binaural mics in my ears, I held the camera, and I walked out from Kaminari Excuse me, up to Sensoji Temple. And partway along, different people came and left and came and left, and crows flew overhead and stuff like that. And partway along, a little girl and her father came up behind me. And she was chatting with Daddy, and Daddy was chatting with her. And they passed me, and I passed them a bit later, and they appeared as I got into Sensoji Temple. They were there again. So just they were people who came in and came out of my video. I see them. If I go to Senso, they're regulars. They go for their morning walk at 7
That's
o'clock.
nice.
Daddy, and she's now, this is 3 or 4 years down the road, and she is growing up,
Yeah.
and she still walks with Daddy out in the mornings. And I tell you, when I see him now, I gotta get, because my daughter is not here. You know, I did have my good daddy time with my daughter, and those two have been captured at a specific moment.
Yeah.
And I'm really, I see them, I go, look, excuse me, I have something I want to show you. Should I do this or not? I've chatted about this on the stream before. Their reaction could be, get that off the internet right away, you know, because privacy, you know, whatever.
Yeah, I want you to see this video I took of you two 5 years ago.
Yeah, so.
Walking around the town.
And there are, you know, maybe her mother, whatever. You do not have my kid's face on the internet. You know? So I've kept quiet. But I don't know their name, I've never followed them, I don't know who they are, but they are a local couple here. And at some point, I really would like them to know about this, but I'm a bit nervous about it. She was so cute.
Yeah.
So cute. But you don't put cute pictures of somebody else's kid on
No, you know, it's something that, you know, occasionally I go downtown. I live in eastern Tennessee, in a mid-sized city, and walk around downtown just taking pictures of
street photos.
You don't want to see, or you don't want to take too many pictures of people. They'll feel invaded or whatever.
Yeah.
And you know, God forbid if you see a couple of kids, just don't point your camera at them.
Of course. That's what we're really about. It's very
Yeah. You know, I can understand the sensitivity. It's just a fact of life these days.
There's a kindergarten down there just outside Sensoji Temple.
Yeah.
There's a kindergarten, and they have real problems because people, when the kids come out and play, all the tourists are, oh my God, look at these cute Japanese kids.
Yep.
And I imagine there's a forest of tourists lined up along this wall,
Yep.
and there's signs, do not take pictures, do not take
Yeah,
pictures.
my first time over here in 2005, I didn't know about the kindergarten, and it just happened that I was there on April 1st, which is the first day of the
Whatever,
school
you
year.
know.
And there were all the kids in their uniforms and their backpacks, and many of the mothers wearing
Kimono,
kimono.
yeah.
And I didn't get up close. I didn't take pictures until I saw a mother and her kid walking away, holding hands, and they were a little distance from me. So I figured I'm not invading anyone's privacy. You can't tell who they are. But just a lady in a kimono and a kid in uniform walking away around temple buildings. That was a nice shot.
And it's part of the, they have to live with this. They're in one of the most photogenic spots in the entire country, and they themselves are photogenic, and tourists are parading past
Well,
the
and
walls.
it's like chasing after the Maiko in Kyoto.
Kyoto, yeah. We get that here at the kimono rental shop next door. You know,
Well, they're
people
asking
come out.
for it. It's not their job.
Yeah,
Well, they're
no,
not
I-
asking for it, but they're.
But the funny thing here is the people in the kimono shop, the customers are mostly foreign tourists. So it'll be a couple of Chinese girls come in, go out and rent kimonos, come out, and all these French tourists, oh my God, tick, 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 and they're taking pictures of Chinese.
Pictures.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's so funny.
Yeah.
Funny idea. But the earphone mics around the
binaural
camera,
ones, yeah.
or the binaural ones around the camera, a head distance apart, so it's like they are the camera.
Well, it's not just the distance
Yeah.
between them. You have to have. They sell model binaural dummy heads that have microphones embedded.
You get the echo of the ears, the way
Yeah.
that
Right, the
sound,
shape of the
ear
ears and
canals.
all that.
Yeah.
And I think Sennheiser sells one for like $5,000 with the mics embedded.
Wow.
It's a big deal.
Oh yeah, well it used to be. It's not a big deal anymore.
No, but I mean, it
It's a
really is
big
a
deal
thing.
to
It
do
really
it
is a
right.
thing. You have to do it. It's stunning, absolutely stunning.
Mhm.
I can't believe I can't understand why more people aren't doing it because it's so wonderful once it's done.
I don't think as many people are concerned about recording quality anymore. It's everything's Pro Tools in somebody's bedroom. You know?
Just the effect is so wonderful. Any first person point of view video,
Mhm.
it's so dramatic. If you're outside.
Now, if you combine that with 3D 8K video, now you're talking.
Yeah.
That was something that I'm glad I got to see the Sony building in Ginza before they took it down. I imagine in the 60s it was just like going to Tomorrowland.
Yeah.
Everything was new and exciting, and now everything's a little more mundane. But they had a demonstration of 8K video
Oh, cool.
on a wall that was probably 10 meters wide and 8 meters high.
Yeah.
And it looked every bit as sharp as looking at an HD screen fairly close. It was amazing.
It isn't compared to reality. He compares it to an HD screen.
Well, no, you can see it wasn't like looking through a window. But, that was a great place to visit.
Yeah.
One of those places that for some reason, I spent a long time reading Sony's company history that you find online, and it's really interesting all the different things they did.
Yeah.
They spent something like 75% of the company's available capital to buy the land and build the building.
Wow. And right now, I think after they took down the building, they've put a park there. That's partially underground too.
I haven't been there.
It's kind of interesting sounding place. I think they have a free roller skating rink or something random like that underground.
Because what else do you think of when you think Sony?
Yeah.
Did they sell the land?
No.
It's still there.
After the Olympics, new building's going up.
Yeah, after the Olympics.
You would think they'd once, well, as long as their name's there, I guess everybody would. Remember reading the history, the first big, not billboard, but a big electronic sign for the Olympics was at Sudabashi, which I don't even know exactly where that is. But it happened to show up. It was one of the early times that they telecast the red and white for New Year's.
Yeah.
And they just kind of did a video collage at different places in Tokyo, and they shot the Sony sign, big electric Sony sign at night, and so that was free advertising that they really needed.
Yeah.
Cameron, I need to think about getting the shop open, I think.
Yep.
What's the schedule?
Yes.
What time is it?
9:27.
I think I'm on party duty for the first party this morning, so how are we doing?
Yeah, a couple more minutes until 9:30, but I don't know if you want to wrap up now. That's fine. Someone had an idea about the family you see walking every day, the father and daughter. It should be doable depending on how you frame it. Don't say, I recorded you and your daughter 3 years ago, want to see it, but it might be worth it to say, I was reviewing some old footage I took from my shop and noticed you and your daughter in it. Would you be interested in having it for posterity? So I think...
And don't mention that it's on the internet.
Yeah, just here's the video. When I took an old walk through the neighborhood.
Yeah, don't mention that it's actually been on YouTube gathering tens of thousands of plays.
Yeah.
But that's the sticky point.
Mm-hmm.
And if they say, no, please take that down, then I'm kind of stuck.
What are the laws here?
I have no idea.
See, in the States, the test is reasonable expectation of privacy. If you're walking around the biggest tourist site in Tokyo, you don't have any expectation.
Yes, except that they were on there for more than, they just didn't walk in front of the camera to spirit. They were on there for extended period.
Doesn't matter.
In the U.S.
Well, that's what I'm saying. In the U.S., they're...
Yeah, how long is John visiting?
I just got here last night, and I'll be in Japan until the 25th. And I fly out. My sister has a timeshare in Hawaii that I've never visited before, so I'm going there. And when I'm done there, I come back here for a full day and then fly home. I had to nest the round trip tickets. If I tried to do multi-city,
It was way more expensive.
it was $800 more. So I decided I'll just do separate round trips. I don't mind coming back to Tokyo,
Tennessee to Japan.
to Hawaii,
To Hawaii, to Japan. To
Tennessee. Because what else?
Hawaii's a long time. It's 9 hours from here.
Is it 9 hours? I thought it was more like 7.
Depends on the time you're going there. You'll get the jet stream, if that still exists.
Well, they haven't burned that up yet. Although it's,
We tend to think about it outside, but me in Vancouver, it's 9 hours. To Hawaii's halfway, 4 hours, 4 hours. No, it's 9 hours from
Well,
Hawaii.
you have to look at a globe
Yep.
to make a great circle route makes sense.
Yeah.
You're starting in Dallas, you're finishing in Tokyo. Why does it go all the way up this way?
Yeah.
Here we are.
Always
Okay,
exciting.
Cameron Sand
Wrap
shuts
up.
down. We've got to get ready for work
Okay.
here.
We will. see
Johnson,
you
thank you for
tomorrow.
sitting in today.
It has been my pleasure, and I talked a lot about other stuff. Sorry about that,
Doesn't matter,
Dan.
doesn't matter, whatever.
It's been fun.
We will see you all.
And stand by for our photo shoot if we manage to get that thing happening.
It'll happen. One of these days.
Good to see you. Thanks, chaps. Okay. Wrap this up.